This year, our youth mission trip took place in southern Arizona, where we worked with Humane Borders and Border Links in their mission to prevent deaths in the desert of people traveling from Mexico to seek a better life in the United States. We were challenged with this line, ver, pensar, actuar. See, think, act. The first thing we did is see. Water stations in the desert, homeless laborers needing not just food and clothing but work. And we saw people who were arrested crossing the border, shackled and processed through our legal system without any sense of a personal story.
We checked and refilled water tanks in the desert. In doing this, I got to better understand what sorts of conditions migrants face in crossing the desert. It was also interesting to see the reactions that people had towards the water tanks. Several were vandalized, like the spigots ripped off. One even had bullet holes in it. This makes one realize how controversial and important the issue of immigration is to many people around here.
I helped deliver water to the stations for the immigrants who passed through on their difficult journey. We went to check the 4 different stations. We would check the level of the water, and if it was empty enough, we would fill it. I learned more about the rough journey of the people. I saw the rough terrain. It was really a joy to make sure the people had water, but I was upset when I saw some of the jugs had been shot at and drained. Luckily, we had spares.
Vanessa Samuelson writes, "The first few tanks were intact but empty, so we filled them. The last ones had bullet holes in them. I learned that the desert is so very hot and dry and you need to drink a lot of water. I also gained a new love for the air conditioning. I'm glad that we got to go out and help people by doing such an easy task."
During the trip, I got a better feel for the conditions that illegal migrants are facing during their journeys. One of the most alarming moments was when we found that 2 water barrels had been shot by a vandal. It was another great experience to get to ride on the back of the Humane Borders truck through the desert.
Cross Street Ministries experience and listening to John Fife were 2 big highlights the group liked. I think the group liked those because they were such real experiences. John Fife lived through so many incredible things and he came and talked to us. The Cross Street Ministries was a big real-world experience, seeing so many people that rely on those meals.
Kevin Peacock wrote, "I always had imagined a homeless person to be lonely and mean, but my perspective of them has changed after today at the Cross Street Ministries. I think they're friendly, kind people. I enjoyed hearing their stories, seeing how they enjoyed the food we had. It made me feel guilty when they all ran for help. Overall, I enjoyed this experience today."
Working at the food place, I got a totally different experience than what I was used to. I liked serving people because they all seemed really happy and thankful and full of gratitude. I also enjoyed meeting the Hare Krishnas because it was a look into another culture and it showed that every kind of person wants to help out somehow. And the food and music they brought were really interesting. Meeting Al and the other people who helped start and run the organization was really very inspirational, and talking with them about their life stories was a really growing experience for me.
At Cross Street Ministries, we got to serve food and start up conversations with the homeless. I loved it. It was so inspirational and heartwarming, and all the people were so caring and friendly to one another. There was this one man there who said to me and Carolyn, "You guys make our day," and just hearing that made me smile. I also loved how the whole thing was run by the homeless people with just a few staff members. There was this man there that a few of us were lucky to meet named Al. He told us almost his complete life story, how he grew up in Tucson, went to boarding school, about his family, and how he practically started the whole program. A few times he got a little teary-eyed, which was very emotional and touching that he would share something like that with us. He told us sometimes people randomly come up to him and give him a hug, which shows how greatly he is appreciated. Through this experience, we gained a lot of knowledge, awareness, and not to mention quite a few laughs. Though the people there had been through so much, one thing they managed to hold on to was their smile and sense of humor.
As I was watching over 55 illegal immigrants being tried and deported in court today, I saw a young man, probably about 20 years old, walk by with a shirt on that said, "Pray," as he was being deported. This shirt pretty much sums up what these people rely on, their faith. This court trial really helped me realize that immigration is a real issue, and that there are people out in the desert right now that are crossing it. And these people are risking their lives to come here and live a better life in America. However, life doesn't seem too much better here for these people who are at this trial. The hardest part of this trial was seeing the people in the shackles. Hearing the shackles every couple of seconds was a constant reminder that we need to fix the immigration system here.
I saw many intense situations. I found many articles of clothing and even found a bus ticket for Mexico. I saw lawyers playing solitaire during court when migrants were being tried. I also saw the hate in people's hearts when a water barrel was shot up. I learned that the views Americans have of Mexicans are extremely flawed when people rush to our aid when we were in trouble. I saw racism up close, and it was very upsetting.
The thing that struck me the most on this trip was the dehumanization of the illegal immigrants. They were chained in court and given numbers. Electric fences were added to the All-American Canal to keep them out. It's embarrassing and horrifying that America could do this to their neighbors.
Please join me in the call to worship. Thus says the Lord, maintain justice and do what is right. Thus says the Lord God, who gathers the outcasts of Israel. I will gather others to them besides those already gathered. Let us praise the God of all creation, who does not recognize the borders that humankind seek to establish, but knows all, loves all, and gathers all.